When I left last fall, I left 3 trail cams up here. Got one that's over in here. I'm going to head over and retrieve it, pick up the other one on the way back to the cabin, and let them thaw out and see what's been walking those trails since I left. First thing I have to explain here is that the date in this camera is wrong. We need to add about 8.5 months to whatever date you see on the picture to make it correct. So instead of this being January the 27th, we're actually more like October the 16th, and this was the last days I was up there before I left from my fault. What's going on here, when I first set this camera up, you need to do a lot of prep, because you see that grass waving in the background? If you don't get rid of all that waving grass, it will trigger the camera on a windy day, and you've got all these snapshots of waving grass. So I take the time and I get anything that's going to be moving around in front of the camera out of the way. And then you also have to make sure that the camera is set on a lower sensitivity setting. I usually have my camera set on the lowest because otherwise they get triggered too easily. The rufous tail on this hawk tells me that it's an adult red-tailed hawk. And if we look here, you're going to see that it's going to pick down, and it's going to be picking up. It's got a little rodent that is killed here. And it goes, and it continues, and it tears that rodent apart, and it eats it. But I want you to note in the videos that follow how many animals come along here, and they stop and hesitate at the site of where that red-tailed hawk had that lunch. I think I could offer lifetime cherry pies to anyone who can name this animal. And I think Vonnie could probably keep up with the baking, because this is an animal that not many people can identify. This time the animal's a little bit wet, but I still feel it's the same animal. And what this animal is, it's a fisher. It's of the weasel family, and it only lives in the far north of North America. And notice how many times here these animals are coming by, and they're sniffing around, and they're nibbling at where that red-tailed hawk ate the mouse. So that was a snowshoe hare heading down that hiking trail and getting out of the area. Unfortunately, I let the video run. Now, this is all one clip. I have not cut this clip. The snowshoe hare goes running by, and as this clip, and we think that that fisher is after the rabbit. But no, you see how it dove off the side and kept going? By checking the clock, we see that less than 2 hours later, these 2 hunters and that dog came walking down this trail, and so obviously they've been hunting in the area that that snowshoe hare and that fisher decided that they wanted to get out of in a hurry. Now we jump ahead about 11 days, and about 7 o'clock in the evening. Now that first wolf flashed by the camera. It's the one that triggered the camera, but there's always about a third of a second to half a second delay, so you don't always catch the first animal coming by. But we did catch this one, and again, it's about 7 o'clock in the evening. I'll save you the rewind because I think that's worth watching again. And yes, 2 wolves are wearing tracking collars. Note how this one, it sniffs something down there, which I assume is our long dead mouse remains that red-tailed hawk might have left something there. Just licking his chops thinking about how great that would have been fresh. Now, when this last wolf and lion gets up here, it's the one that I don't think I want to meet out in the woods on a late evening with all by myself. It's just got this look in its eye that it kind of sends a few shivers up my spine, even as I sit here narrating. Note this is the next evening, so these wolves have been down that trail 3 out of the last 4 nights, all between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And here we have that rare species of cabin partner Jim, who was up there in the first days of December, but he's looking, but all the activity that's gone on in the previous 3 weeks, he would have no idea about. Beaver Pond is now frozen, so there's no need to walk up on top of the trail. So this wolf's coming up and checking some things out.